starting. Yeah? Ready? Alrighty, folks. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah? Ready to go? We can still toy with this. Okay. Like this? That's fine that you do it with me. So the real presenters are in frame. Yeah. Good? Shoot them to the right. Like this? Okay. Are we good? That's what I thought. We're good. All right. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه وهو أصدق القائلين بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما بقول شاعر قليلا ما تؤمنون ولا بقول كاهن قليلا ما تذكرون تنزيل من رب العالمين صدق الله العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Here at Nueces, we are very blessed and very honored and very privileged to attract some of the best scholars, speakers, subject matter experts that the country and the world have to offer. And it's very common for on a given Friday night to host scholars and imams, teachers and mentors and preachers to come guide and advise our community. However, Poetry Night is very special and very unique in that we don't invite anyone like that, but actually we take the microphone and we hand it back to the students. And we hand it back to the members of the community to showcase the creativity and the talent that we have here locally, here at UT, here at Austin, here at Nueces, and beyond. Poetry Night is one of the events that we look forward to every year. It's a staple of our schedule. And it's something that we're excited about and happy to host every single year. A few points to reflect on before we begin. Number one, there may be a sentiment in the community that why are we using the house of Allah and such a sacred space for such an activity? And I want to address that for a few moments. Because as difficult and as challenging the mission and the life of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, he was also someone that was known to have moments of levity in his life. He was also known to have moments of even comedic humor. He enjoyed telling jokes with his companions. He actually assigns certain companions to compose and deliver poetry in moments of battle, in moments of immense stress and challenge. He injected levity in those situations by tapping into the creativity of the community. So this is very much a prophetic endeavor, number one. Number two, of course, in our Islamic literature, the highest level of Arabic is the Quran itself, the word of Allah. However, as any specialist of the Quran will tell you, that a true mutakhassis, a specialist in the translation, the explanation, the explication of the Quran, part of that requires a deep study of pre-Islamic Jahili poetry. That one cannot truly understand the phrases, the words of the Quran without tapping into that language. And for 1400 years, that was a part and parcel of our academic intellectual tradition. That you cannot be an expert in the Quran without first having studied that. Because that will allow you to appreciate how unique the Quran is. How unique the Quran is. Now, speaking of the Quran, there's actually not a single place in the Quran where Allah mentions poetry and poets positively. And there's a reason for that. In fact, the chapter in the Quran that's called Surah Ash-Shu'ara, the chapter of the poets, Allah says, وَالشُّعَرَاءُ هُمُ الْغَاوُونَ. Poets have an ability to delude and distract people from their purpose. Which leads me to my second point, and that is, as creative and as amazing as poetry is, the Quran and the Sunnah are very keen and avid to tell the community that poetry comes from a very deep place, of deep emotion. And so every year what we have observed and noticed is, especially with some of the more deeper kind of presenters and lines of poetry, it can invoke a lot of emotion in people. So every year I make this general announcement to the community, and subhanAllah, every single year we have individuals who actually take me up on this. That during this evening, if the lines of poetry affect you in a particular way, if you find yourself being emotionally affected by the words and the ideas that are being shared, and you need to talk to someone to help process those emotions, I make myself available in my office like as late as anyone needs. In fact, like my family knows, on poetry night is the night I'm allowed to come home with the process, because tonight can be very heavy and it can be very deep. But this endeavor is worth it. This endeavor is worth it because the ideas and the lines of poetry that are being shared tonight, we hope and pray, are a means of our own reflection to our own souls. They're a means of uniting the hearts of the community, and they're a means by which all of us cannot be heedless of Allah in our responsibilities, but rather that we use the art and the artistic form of poetry to connect with our Creator, to connect with each other, and to connect with that which matters. So without further delay, I want to hand it over to our host for this evening, Sister May, if you could take the floor. Jazakumullah khairan.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. And welcome to tonight's event. I'm so excited for all of you to be here and can't wait to get started. Before we begin, let us take a moment to remember our brothers and sisters in Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, Yemen, and Syria, and all around the world who are enduring unimaginable hardship. This Sunday marks a year of genocide, a year of indiscriminate murder, and of overwhelming loss. Let's all take a moment to make our own personal dua for those who are oppressed everywhere right now, as dua is our most powerful weapon.
If the brothers could take a moment and move up as well, inshallah, that would really help. Inshallah, in line with the stool. Great. Yeah, please, keep on moving.
This Sunday marks a year of genocide. As we gather tonight to reflect through poetry, let's remember that our words hold power to connect, to inspire, and to raise awareness. May we use this gathering not only to celebrate the beauty of expression, but also to stand in solidarity with those facing oppression by praying for their safety, justice, and liberation, inshallah. I'd like to start Poetry Night off by reading a poem from Gaza Poets Society, written by Muhammad Musa, who is currently in Gaza enduring the ongoing genocide. Okay, the poem is called Please Forget About Us by Muhammad Musa. Please forget about us. Forget our names, our freedom to exist. The bloodstains on your screens, the screams under your pillows, the echo of our hunger, our bodies buried in rubble, the blood that pools in our streets, its scent lingering. Forget whether we resemble each other or not, whether we speak the same language or not, whether our children are of similar age or not, whether we sleep or you cannot, whether we dream or you do not. Simply forget us. Whether it is better to perish in the summer of early sorrows or the winter of delayed defeats, whether we are interred in a communal grave or abandoned for stray dogs to consume, simply forget us, for we too have lost memory of your existence. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand it off to our co-host for the night. One more time, thank you guys so much for coming out. Really excited, and inshallah, all of you guys have a fun night. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Samir Beg.
But I know my sisters are going to do me better. I'm Yusrallah Adadiran. I knew the sisters are going to show the brothers what's up tonight. But assalamu alaikum, guys. We're really, really excited for Poetry Night and to be hosting this session with you guys. Inshallah, we're going to have some really, really nice poems, and a lot of people put a lot of work into what they're going to say today. So if everyone could just be respectful of that. I know Samir wanted to add a few words on that as well.
Yeah, thank you for stealing my line. Basically, what I meant to say is kind of like what Imam said. People have put in a lot of time, and some poems are just going to be really heavy, especially with what's going around the world. So let's just be a good audience. Let's have fun, and just be respectful. And yeah, let's get started with our first poem. Right?
No, I'll go ahead and
sorry.
see it. Okay, so the first poem is going to be by Zainab Chowdhury, and it's going to be called Spring.
All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Zainab, and tonight I'll be performing my original poem titled Spring, which explores the injustices of the world around us and how we, as an ummah, can transform suffering into strength. Ever since I was little, spring has always been my favorite season. I remember chasing the birds in the garden as they sang a treble cloth of songs to each other, smelling the fragrance of flowers, their petals creased with youth and carefreeness, and embracing the golden sunlight, which brings warmth from the horizon. But I never realized just how grateful I am to experience spring. I cast my eyes past the horizon of privilege and comfort, a horizon I've allowed myself to become all too familiar with, and I now cast them towards the real world, where life is stained with the bloodied pages of oppression, where on each page the sunlight is masked by deafening explosions, where on each page families are torn apart, suffering from the pains of separation, and through sleepless nights and their bodies trembling in sujood, they dream to reunite. Where on each page, journalists are risking their lives to bring truth to the world. Where on each page, children in all of their purity and innocence are writing wills scrawled in red ink before their heavenly souls are found buried beneath the rubble of evil you would think has pierced their hearts, but instead instills the nur of Allah into their souls as they rise to become the white doves of paradise. And I know, as we sit here tonight enveloped by the wings of the angels, I know that the trembling of our fingers and the tears that form beneath our eyelids confess to the shattering of our hearts. The same way you blow on a dandelion and the wind delicately carries each individual seed to a new destination so that these dandelions can continue to grow timelessly. Why do the winds of injustice spread the seeds of pain and loss all over the fabric of this world? Why is it that every day, like clockwork, injustice manifests itself in every grove of existence, snatching every jasmine that tries to blossom from the ground and concealing every constellation of the sky? Why are we so helpless? We ask ourselves, when will the shackles of the Uyghurs become broken? When will the injustice cease to penetrate the skies of Lebanon and Yemen and Syria? When will the deprived soil of Sudan become rich with hibiscus flowers blossoming forth? When will the suppression of voices in Kashmir translate into the golden light of freedom? When will Palestine be met with the delicate birdsong of liberation? Our voices exhausted and our hearts sore, we wonder, when will they finally rejoice, basking in the beauty of spring again? I ask you to take the sorrow, take the anger that manifests within you and channel it, whether it be through the voice of protest or through the du'as you make in the silence after prayer. Make sure that these aching feelings forever remain within your heart. You must create a spring that blossoms from within your soul, a spring where together we plant seeds of hope into this wounded soil and engrave crescents of courage into the night skies, entrusting the growth of these seeds in Allah. Together we will create a spring for them, adorned with the cool rain of the Ummah's tears, with the gentle breeze of freedom, and with flowers curated from our trust in Allah. Toward the next, the souls of the oppressed will thrive in the eternal gardens of bliss, resting in the shade of mercy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Zainab. I really loved like the verse that you were talking about of how like the kids of Gaza, like even though with all that traumatic experience that they're experiencing right now, like we would expect that, you know, maybe they would give up hope, but really they are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we see like the taqwa that they have. I really enjoyed that verse.
Yes, and also just a side note, if you hear people snapping, that just means like it's like a bar, so like just kind of like go for it. And yeah, so like spring on to our next poet. Yeah, so Alicia is gonna perform The Gravity of Stillness.
Can I hold this? Okay. Salam everyone. My name is Alicia, and my poem is called The Gravity of Stillness. It is a self-discovery poem. It is the feeling of constantly running and ironically feeling more lost until I surrendered to the stillness found in the depths of prayer that I truly began to understand what it meant to be anchored in faith. There is this gravity that draws us inward, and it kind of brings our scattered little pieces into alignment. And in that stillness, clarity begins to take shape. And if you take anything from this piece that I wrote, it is that you shouldn't search too hard for direction. You must trust that guidance will lead you further and forward naturally, if you allow it to. Okay. I was born plain, untouched, and floating over as if I was something strictly fluid and non-perceivable, with the abyss in the center of me, with a piece missing, something that's always been there, like the thing you feel upon awakening but never had to name. With my steady North Star fading, always steps ahead of where I should be and paces behind where I should have been, growing upwards but not headed towards anything, running just because I'm supposed to, and losing years like coats falling from my shoulders, a forever swinging pendulum, never still long enough to decide much. Until I asked God to strike lightning through my veins, ground me in this world full of ruins, anything to show me what I am supposed to do, and allow me to speak so fluently everything I desire to say into existence. With my fists raised to the sky, enable me to trace without hesitation, to confront the unknown, or make peace with the silence, no longer waiting for it to end. How must I renew myself today and leave behind the skin of yesterday? How many times will I begin again? I want to feel lifted, no longer stuck on the fence. And as the call to prayer reverberates, my forehead pressed to the ground, I found direction in the stillness. Like a shell, I could not feel surround. In that crucial moment of stillness, where I remained still enough to listen, but also grounded enough to let go, I found that I have been actively seeking for answers through action, yet they were weighted in surrender. I yearned for wisdom, only to be tested by with mistakes. I longed for patience, so I was met with delays, and perhaps that was the point. Stress accumulates where the creation takes on weight of tasks meant for the hands of the creator, as if clay could mold itself, or if the ocean could calm itself without the moon's pull, as if the heart could bear what only the most merciful can lift. And so he spoke to me and said, "Tell me all that you know, so I can take what you can let go. And even if everything you speak tastes like dirt, you are not decaying. You haven't finished writing the world." I realized in this stillness I was a trillion little pieces until he pulled me into focus and pierced gems through my skin in the shape of constellations, mapping the way forward. Astronomy in reverse, a star collapsing inward and rearranging its course. It was me who was discovered. I found that I cannot heal from what I hold on to. Everything I have ever lost had cleared the way for me to finally be free. I am no longer filling spaces that are not meant for me. I now stand in the place I belong, with love seeping through my pores, and all they'll ever have of me is the love I gave, the love I leave with, the love I left with, and that is enough. That is more than enough. Thank you.
I don't know. Sorry. Oh, it's okay.
Does this work? Oh, what?
Okay. Y'all were snapping it up. That was good. That was good. I liked it. Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
I'm going to take a book out of Imam Anwar's page, and could everyone move up forward, please? There are a lot of people in the back. I can't really see because it's light, but I was just told.
Okay. All right. All right, everyone, please get settled down. We need to keep the agenda moving. So, okay. So the next person that will be coming up is Sayyid Ali Mustafa, and his poem is called White Dove, a poem in Arabic and English.
All right, so I will probably read it first in Arabic and then I'll translate it in English. Can I huh? All right, so the name of the poem is Al-Hamama. أحس بالحزن لما أنظر إلى هذا المشاهد العنيفة التي لم أعد أستطيع أن أنظر إليها، والأحداث التي تظل تحدث من العصور الماضية، كأن هذا العالم نسي الحروب الماضية، كأن هذا الدنيا لا تتعلم من الأخطاء التاريخية، كأن قيمة دم المظلوم لا شيء أبدا، وأخيرا قد سقط لثام الكذب الخفيف، هل أنا الأحمق الذي لا يزال ينتظر لأهل الأخلاق والفضيلة؟ أين ذهبوا أهل الأخلاق والفضيلة؟ أين ذهبوا الحكام الصالحين؟ أين اختفت التقوى والحقيقة والصدق؟ وأخيرا أين اختفت القدرة للتمييز بين الحق والباطل؟ هل أنا ذو الحماقة الذي ينتظر ويتوقع ويأمل أملا أن سيأتي يوما لن نبكي أبدا؟ لقد قتلوا هذه الحمامة البيضاء البريئة، الحمامة البيضاء الوحيدة التي كانت تغني أغنيتها الأخيرة الوحيدة. يشهد العالم الظلم المستمر، يستمع العالم الصرخات البريئة، يشهد العالم قتل الأمن والحماية. لقد ذهب الحلم، قد غادرت البراءة، والعصر هو عصر الجاهلية والكراهية، افتقارا إلى أخلاق أو حتى كرامة. ولكننا معكم، نحن سنبقى معكم بالتأكيد. سوف نشعل أحلامكم، سوف نرفع أعلامكم من النهر إلى البحر. كونوا حجرا عنيدا لا تكسره الأمواج، كونوا شجرا ثابتا ينمو ويزدهر ويوفر الفواكه، أو كونوا نسرا طائرا يتغلب على عقباته وأعدائه بقوته وشجاعته. يا أرض الزيتون البلد الأمين، لن تكون من الساقطين، لن تكون من الساقطين يا فلسطين. I feel grief when I look upon this scene, these violent scenes which I can no longer bear to look at, and these events which keep unfolding from the ages of past, as if the world has forgotten the wars of past, as if the world does not learn from the mistakes of past, as if the value of the blood of the oppressed is worth nothing at last. At last the thin veil of hypocrisy has fallen. Am I the foolish one who still waits for the people of morality and virtue? Where did morality and virtue go? Where did the righteous rulers go? Where did piety and truth and honesty vanish? And finally, where did the ability to distinguish between truth and falsehood vanish? Am I the foolish one who waits and expects and hopes, hoping that there will arrive a day when we won't cry no longer? They have murdered this innocent white dove, this lonely white dove, which was singing its last lonely song. The world witnesses the enduring oppression. The world listens to the innocent cries. The world witnesses the murder of peace and protection between the lies. The dream has gone, innocence has departed, and the age is an age of ignorance and hatred, and the day is a day of destruction and disaster and hypocrisy, lacking in morals or even dignity. But we will remain with you. Certainly we will remain with you. We will reignite your dreams. We will raise your flags from the river to the sea. Be like a stubborn rock, unmoved and unbroken by the waves. Be like a firm tree, which grows and blooms and provides fruit. Or be like a flying eagle, overcoming its obstacles and enemies with strength and bravery. O land of olives, O blessed land, you will not be among the fallen. You will not be among the fallen, O Palestine.
If y'all are trying to speak Arabic like him,
Join seminary year 2.
woo! And speaking of seminary, our next speaker is Sanya Kazi, performing "Oh Soul, My Soul" and "My Soul."
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Before I start my poem, I wanted to share some good news with everyone. My journey with poetry actually started during my freshman year when I wrote my first ever poem for my first ever poetry night 2 years ago. And alhamdulillah, ever since I have been writing poetry, and I recently got a book published with like a compilation of my poems. So if anyone's So if anyone's interested, you can come to me after I'm done, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Now, regarding my poem, how many of y'all have seen the video of an elderly Palestinian man by the name of Khalid Nabhan, who lost 2 of his grandchildren, a 3-year-old Reem and 5-year-old Tariq, in Israeli airstrikes? Okay, so a lot of you guys. And so in the video, there's a video that went viral in which he's holding on to this lifeless body of his granddaughter, Reem, and he's calling her Ruhur Ruh, which means soul of my soul. And my poem is basically titled "O Soul of My Soul," and it's, if you know, it's like an imagination of what the grandfather would have told his granddaughter. I thought I knew love before I met you, but the joy I felt when your mother gave me the news was a breakthrough. As a man who never cried, I had tears in my eyes as I looked up full of gratitude towards the skies. To witness the birth of a grandchild is always unique, but when that child is a fairy, you're left without words to speak, in awe of creation from the most beautiful above, for in you I found the truest form of love. When I first heard you cry, my heart ached. Unsure of what to do, I simply stayed awake by your grandma's side as she laughed at me amused. Oh, if only she knew how your cries left my heart bruised. When your mother was born, I couldn't comprehend why the Prophet ﷺ gave glad tidings of paradise to those who to daughters tend. It was only as she grew that I began to see the trials and blessings of being a father to a girl like she. We live in a blessed land, a place where olives and figs grow at hand, the land of sweet, juicy oranges and an undefeatable spirit, where yaqeen and tawakkul are all we truly inherit. You see, I once had a beautiful home, on land where the soil smelled sweet as foam, where the sky was so clear you could count every star, and my uncles would sit together, no matter how far. They'd sit around a fire, sipping their tea, tired but content, in a land of the free. Us children would run through fields so wide, the earth laughing beneath us as we skipped with pride, back to our mother's lap, where warmth was always near, and the smell of fresh bread filled the air so clear. There was always enough for guests to share, for in our home we learnt the joy of care. But one day, a knock came at our door, and we were told to run, not into the fields, as we usually did for fun, but away from the city. As war tanks rolled in, Mama locked her jewelry in the cupboard within. She took the key, hanging it on the chain round her neck, the one Baba had gifted her when she was a newlywed. We came to a city far away, riding on donkey carts, walking half the way, confused and scared, but our faith held strong. Mama and Baba taught us to share all along. We shared the little we had with others like us, who left everything behind without a fuss. We prayed the tanks would leave soon, hoping to return before the bloom of June. But that day never came, as full moon after full moon lit the sky, and before I knew it, I was a groom, married to the most beautiful girl from our village. Our wedding celebrated amidst the wreckage and pillage. Mama gave my bride the necklace Baba had given her, and the key too, because that's how our jewelry was transferred, from one bride to another until it reached your mother. I wished to give her the jewelry my mother had hidden, but I knew returning home was forbidden. So I made peace with one necklace and a heart full of prayers, for they were all that sustained us when life became hard to bear. I longed to give her a life filled with laughter and grace, but in the conditions we lived, all I could offer was resourcefulness in place. When you were born, Ruhi, hope filled my heart again. Allah blessed me with another angel, a way to attain my path to paradise. You were born on my birthday, and your arrival took all my sorrows away. Your laughter always filled my heart with such happiness, like a beautiful melody, fluttering in its sweetness. As you grew, I realized I couldn't hide our struggles from you. The deaths around us left you confused and lost too, so I taught you that martyrdom was a rank of honor. But my heart trembled with horror, knowing one day it could be your life that was gone, your soul ascending, while I stayed on, left on the ground without anyone around. I taught you gratitude, even when we had nothing, taking you to neighboring towns to witness their suffering. Yet though I wanted you to see reality, my heart never agreed to expose you to such a calamity. You tugged my beard while I pulled your pigtails, our laughter echoing, a joy that never failed. You asked for bananas and watermelons, and oh, how I would have fought the earth itself to bring you some, but all around there was only rubble, beneath which we found nothing but trouble. Ruhi, my reem, the evening before you left me forever, you asked to go outside and play. But that was beyond me, because we were in a lion's lair. Going out meant death, so I kept you near. Little did I know that night would be the one I feared. I woke up as everything crumbled and fell, screaming, crying. I couldn't even tell where anyone was or what had happened. All I knew was that your voice had dampened. They took you from me, and you took part of my soul. O heart of my heart, without you I'll never be whole. How I long to hold you, to feel your soft hair, to mend this heart that's broken beyond repair. Allah gifted you to me, then called you back. Though my heart aches, I find peace in what I lack. You're now a free angel, far from this world so cruel, and I await the day we reunite in a paradise so beautiful. Jazakallah khair.
If sisters can move forward, yeah, we got some people in the back, and we want it's gonna get real cozy. So everyone, scoot forward, if possible.
Could the brothers also move forward too, please? We don't bite.
Thank you. Huh? No, I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna do something else. You wanna go first? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is everyone nice and close? Are they trying? I think you guys are trying to do something. Okay. Okay. If everyone could please get quiet again, that would be really, really amazing. Shh. Okay. I really enjoyed Sister Sonia's poetry. It really emulates like how Allah talks about like the ties of kinship within the Quran and how it's so very important. Yeah, so you guys should definitely buy her poetry book. And she's also a teacher for Nueces Seminary, so I'm gonna plug that again. If y'all like her and you like the poetry that she said, join Nueces Seminary and buy her book, please, inshallah.
Yeah, that poem touched my soul. So just get it, it was soul. So our next poet performing his poem is Isa Ansari.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can I all right. Just gonna. All right. So my name's Isa, and this is my poem called Cycles. Yeah. Okay. Bismillah. All right. The sun rose today, as did I, sheltered in the flesh before my eyes, unburdened by those dreams which had come before. The sun rose today, unknowing of it, to illuminate the murky water which had sought refuge in the potholes that marked those streets lain long forgotten in our minds. Self-righteous, we slipped past the wretched, our souls seeking not the reflection in the water, but fashioning a canvas over it in hopes of painting some new truth to the world. The sun rose today, overbearing and cruel, carving its name to the necks of unruly children whose bare feet for a second marked their existence in the world. Such specters of dust clung to beg for return tomorrow, yet the wind in its strictness would only return all to as it was before, and silence stood at the fences to mourn their loss. The sun rose today, the hands of a clock off ushering the night before, so too did its sight lay on us all, covered both palaces and ruin in light, gradually, till my soul could find no shadow to excuse its ignorance. The sun rose in haste, to render blind the moth between my ribs. No longer could he find the flame before him, like how the glossed eyes of birds saw not their reflection, and no praise from pointed beaks could remedy that their wings could not catch such words they uttered, and even the drops of soil pressed through shivering skin could lay no eyes on that who had placed it, content as we were to build walls to heaven in hopes of ascension. And so the sun rose, weeping to find the world unfurled much as it had before, wondering if we ever tired of those same stories we told. Sorrow was such stone we kicked down much the same road, rivers sustained by the tears of those droves of mourners, guilty to hold on to the warmth of their life in the light of a world turned cold, pierced by the mechanisms derived of machinations posed for genocide, the academic posturing, false pondering on moral questions that were never questions, red lines erased as our voices were forced through red tape, circumvented by false debates on the existence of the oppressed and not an oppressor state, amidst the silence of both faces of the Muslim states, the ones who exemplify my brother's suffering while partaking in his fate. The sun set, as it did yesterday, as it would tomorrow, as apathy and sorrow lay together between our eyes, and paralyzed we cannot decide if the suffering had suffered enough. How shameless it seems to praise the faith of the one who you left no other option. Our prayer mats were woven glass, and we worshipped only what we saw before us. The sun set. Such ways dwindled between prison bars, and my own unspoken voice was the blade which cut without justice. It knew neither the blood it spilled nor the hand which grasped it, and that hand knew not when it would join its victim. I think our lives are too short to be wicked. How long did it take for that pharaoh to be dragged to sea? How long till the sword avenged Sumaya, till Ariel Sharon's kidneys failed him, till the last cup of wine reached the lips of Yazid, till I myself am being judged with them all? The sun had left, and time was all I could see. The shrinking of my father's hands, cracked clay and mold consuming the bread we had abandoned in our haste. All the people I martyred in my mind before they could leave us. The child I was and the one they showed on the news this morning before we all moved on together. Somewhere under the rubble, a man died and we all forgot to mourn him. When it's all over, we might ask to the sky, how could you let this happen? And all we would hear is an echo in response. Thank you.
Okay, mashallah, really love the poem. Heard a lot of snaps, so that means it was pretty good. The next person is my roommate, so I'm going to be extra loud for her, and I'd appreciate if the sisters are extra loud for her as well. But the next person that's going is Zarka.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I have a short poem. It's about a few words that I keep near and dear to my heart as I guide my way through Islam, because Islam is the way of life. Echoes of wisdom. Each dawn, voices echo through the chambers of my mind, reverberating with the advice of those who came before. Their words, like ripples in a pond, expand with time, touching my life's shore, with guidance to explore. Monday's light brings the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's gentle decree. The ink of the scholar is holier than the martyr's blood. Tuesday, Ibn Taymiyyah's path to knowledge I see. Allah eases the way to paradise. Understood. Wednesday, Al-Ghazali's patience becomes my guide. To love what you seek, first endure what you despise. Thursday, Imam Shafi's wisdom does provide. True knowledge benefits. Mere memory never applies. Friday dawns with Ibn Qayyim's solemn warning. A sick heart outweighs a body's ailment. Beware. Saturday, Imam Malik's lifelong yearning. From cradle to grave, seek knowledge with care. Sunday echo brings Al-Abiwardi's praise so bright, of one who inspired the lame to walk with grace. Because of him, the songless burst into melody. Al-Ghazali's influence leaving not a silent trace. These echoes of wisdom day by day unfold, a constant reminder of the path to righteousness. From scholars and sages, their teachings never old. Guide my steps, my thoughts, my deeds, I confess. Like waves upon the shore, their words return, shaping the landscape of my faith and mind. In daily life, I discern their lessons, echoes of wisdom, forever intertwined.
All right, guys, I didn't even know she got it like that, and I live with her. So that was really good. That was really good. Okay, mashallah, mashallah.
Are we working on the light? No? Okay. Well, as you know, this light went out, and this masjid needs money, so please donate if you can.
Yeah, guys, we really need the money. Y'all already know Nueces Sustainers, $5 a month. Gets you that cool tote bag too. So, if you can donate, inshallah.
Yep. And
the next person.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The next person is Zian, and his poem is called Azadi, and it's a poem that's in Kashmiri and English.
Woo.
Guys, I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to first off say a few words. I'm a Kashmiri Muslim from Indian-occupied Kashmir. I wanted to recite this poem in honor of my people and their commitment to the struggle for freedom from India. The Kashmiri Muslim man who actually wrote this poem and is a dear friend of mine is currently awaiting news on whether or not he will be arrested for being a terrorist. I might never see him again. My childhood consisted of stories of Indian army beating and stripping my father naked and forcing him to curse the Prophet, of the amount of times my mother would contemplate suicide before Indian army would raid her home, of the gun pressed against my father's head as he pleaded with the army to let go of his brother, that he wasn't a terrorist, that he was just a boy, of my mother holding her baby cousin in her arms as Indian army took away his father for 2 years, of stories upon stories of how many of us, how many Kashmiri Muslims were murdered, tortured, and raped by India. But before I begin this poem, I just want to impart these words with you. The struggle never dies. There's going to be a day when the Indian occupation ends. Azadi is the Kashmiri word for freedom, and with each verse I say, I will end it with the word freedom. Asakun dutna, Azadi. Asayar ditna, Azadi. Lakchar dutna, Azadi. Gharabar ditna, Azadi. Ghamkar ditna, Azadi. Dil kya hai yeena, Azadi. Did we not give our blood for you? Did we not give our friends for you? Did we not give our childhood for you? Did we not give our homes for you? Did we not give our compassionate ones for you? Then, O freedom, why do you not come? Dil te jaan dyutna, Azadi. Shurpan dyutna, Azadi. Diluk karar dyutna, Azadi. Ashikbar dyutna, Azadi. Kashir hun sabzar dyutna, Azadi. Dil kya is yeena, Azadi. Did we not give our hearts and our lives for you? Did we not give our children for you? Did we not give the peace of our hearts for you? Did we not shed tears for you? Did we not sacrifice this paradise for you? Then, O freedom, why do you not come? Dil kya shakroshit azadi. Umeed chakna azadi. Aise didar dikhna azadi. Aise aram dikhna azadi. Chashman shahjar dikhna azadi. Dil kya zikhna azadi. Why do you wish to stay away from us? Aren't you our hope? Won't you reveal yourself to us? Won't you soothe us and give us rest? Won't you give rest to our eyes? Then, O freedom, why won't you come? Zalim khar gatsna azadi. Mismar gatsna azadi. Parpar gatsna azadi. Dil kya is yena azadi. Won't the oppressor be disgraced? Won't he be reduced to ashes? Won't he face destruction from all sides? Then, O freedom, you shall surely come. Thank you.
Okay. May Allah grant the Muslims of Kashmir and all around the world freedom, and may Allah grant us all Jannah, inshallah. Ameen. Okay. You could do that next person.
My mic just broke. Our next speaker.
Donate to Nueces Mosque.
Yes, please donate. Our next poet is Ali Gharib, and he's performing "The Space Between What You Left."
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name's Ali, and my poem is called "The Spaces Between What Was Left." This is my first spoken composition, and I dedicate it to my close friends and family. Do not think that the bathroom floor will soon forget the clippings of your hair, strewn haphazardly lodged between the grout of every tile. Do not think that the cafe will forget the scuffs under your favorite chair, or how you so tenderly paid behind the counter in compliments and thoughtful words. Do not question how much you were missed when falling into the arms of your beloved, how your absence weighed heavy on tender heartstrings, raw from longing. Do not neglect the atlas that is your smile at strangers across crosswalks and stop signs. Your reflection in every bus window reflects more than you can assign. Do not dismiss the hands that you held, the ones that you've anchored. They remember the strength that you've given them when they resigned. Do not forget the years that you've worn like old coats draped over your shoulders, heavy with memory, threading into you. Do not believe that the folds of the mat are simply creases in the cloth under your knees. It's witnessed every moment you've sought to turn inwards, every mark and stitch across your heart. And what about the year that comes after the next? The one that comes after this one drags like a hangnail, leaving you bloodied, skinned, and raw. The year that comes next, calm, serene, soothing, kind upon you still. And what of the brushstrokes that your jokes paint across the canvas that is your friends' faces? The paint that sticks in the simmering chuckles and the poached tears of joy down their cheeks. And what of how your laughter echoed long after you left the room? How it caught in the folds of curtains, swirled in the air like dust and lingered. And the echoes of your laughter still hum in the air between phone calls. Even when the words blur together, they leave a fragrance you won't forget. And the safe grasp you finally have, so tightly held onto everything that matters, after sleepless nights, whittling away at yourself, leaving you with barely anything to hold. The spaces between what was left are not hollow. They grow wider and wither with the burden of your absence. The spaces between what was left are where you're needed the most, where the soft ripples of your presence and the shuffle of your feet on the carpet matter the most. The spaces between what was left aren't empty. They're filled with hearts beating with your name, repeated thrums of a consistent heartbeat that can't bear the threat of distance. And they say that hearts grow fonder with remembrance, but they grow even fonder with your presence. Thank you.
Okay, you started off.
I'm just going to use this mic because this one's just giving me problems. But how's everybody doing?
Nah. Y'all gotta do better than that, bro. We up here, y'all over there, so let's get it again. How's everyone doing today?
Yeah, so our next next poem, I keep saying speaker, is Abdullah Safda.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone's doing well today. So my poem is titled An Announcement. And it's actually very important. I worked really hard on this poem, and it's about someone inside this room. I don't know who it is, but we're going to find out together. Okay, roses are red. Violets are blue. If you drive a red Audi, this message is for you. It's parked out front, blocking the way. Yallah, please move it soon so others can stray. Thank you. But actually, if anyone drives a red Audi, it's blocking the car. I need to move it now because we're trying to get the crepe truck in. Is that anyone in this room? Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay, so it's gonna be more from the next. Masui or Masawi? All right. Okay. So the car is going to be moved. Crepes are going to come in. It's going to be a great night. But we will continue with the poems. And the next poet that's coming up is Muhammad
Masawi. Masawi. We said that right. Hey.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له وما يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, I know what you're all thinking right about now. Is this guy about to give a khutbah? And my answer to that question is no. I just thought it'd be a cool intro. Inshallah, one day I'll give a khutbah. Now the prose I'm about to deliver to you is 4 lines in length. And the name of it is called Before I Begin My Poetry. ... That's the name. But before I begin my poetry, inshallah, I just want to mention how cool it is that we're all here right now. At a time when the sky is as dark as ink, on a night when everyone else is reaching for a drink, I'm at the mosque with my foot in the sink. So sometimes I sit back and start to think, where would we be now if it weren't for this mosque we're in? Where would you be without Nueces? Ya Allah, protect us from the shaitan and encourage us to come to the house of Allah. Ameen. And I'll get to my poetry in a second. Nueces EC, just give me like 5 minutes, okay? But seriously, in a city that beckons us to go astray, we seek refuge in a house that keeps us at bay. From dusk to dawn, doors open all day. A sanctuary spanning from August to May. Shout out to May, food's always gourmet. Where worldly burdens seem to fade away, on historical carpets, on them do we pray, and a call to prayer that invites us to say, Allahu Akbar. Who here knows what that means? Yes? Allah is greater. That is correct. Hey, you win. Where's Samir? Samir, what's Nueces serving tonight? Hey, shawarma's on me tonight. Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. Who knows where I'm going with this? Allah is greater. Save dunya for later. Put thoughts to the side and focus on prayer. And when you line up, you're not just a spectator. You're actively conversing with Allah, your creator. And before I begin my poetry, I also want to highlight how amazing it is that Nueces is more than just a musalla. It's more than just a place to pray. Here you'll find yourself and see yourself grow, where your lifelong friends are people you already know, with a community most people could never fathom, and an imam who's absolutely unbelievably handsome. Did imam write this? Now, I've been looking at y'all's faces, and I can tell what some of y'all are thinking right now. This brother in the front is thinking, where's the food? Boy, am I hungry. A sister in the back is thinking, why are y'all laughing? This guy's not funny. But I'm assuming most of y'all are wondering, when is he going to start his poetry? Okay, you guys ready? All right, bismillah. Roses are red. Violets are blue. I really like Nueces. And the imam is cool too. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bruh, Samir got some competition because that was hella funny.
Why did I get it straight?
You want to use this one?
Yes. All right, so it works. I'm still wondering, when is he going to start his poem?
Okay, that was really, really good. The next poet is going to be Celeste Molina, and it's to get... Okay, yeah, you're going to come and talk.
Woo! Everyone clap up. Woo!
Assalamu alaikum. Alright, I'll start. Together, juntos, sawa. Tantamount to obelisk, inshallah. Remember, I might not always speak like you, but I'll always stand with you. I may not always cook like you, but I'll always eat with you. I may not always look like you, but I'll always walk with you. I might not always know you, but I will always be with you. For my soul, alma, rohia, goes beyond my body. From the coast of Mexico, I march for you. To the jungles of Honduras, I swing for you. To the mountains of El Salvador, I climb for you. Because we are too alike to deny. Remember, I may not always speak like you, but I will always stand with you. Tantamount to obelisk, inshallah. Together, juntos, sawa. Thank you.
Yeah, so as you guys know, the masjid is deteriorating as we speak. And speaking of the masjid breaking down, could sustainers come up here and do their pitch?
Yeah. Everyone pull out your wallets right
yes.
now.
Yes. Could they please come up here?
Yeah.
Are they here?
They're using the time to lock the masjid.
Oh, they're right there. I can see.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, I've been sitting on this pitch for a while, since last year, before I was booted off. But I'm here now. I'm here to raise money for Nueces, some way, somehow. So I'm just gonna get started. It's really serious, and I'm just gonna get straight into it, okay? They tell me.
They tell her.
They tell me to tell you to bring in the moolah. Do you love the things Nueces does for you?
We do.
From Nueces nights to Fudger bagel bites, the unmatched chicken and rice. They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
You don't know.
They don't know that this all comes at a price. Wampus smells, people yell, SSS
Wow.
Then they dwell, gather intel, but no one zells these Nueces finance personnel.
I ask. She asks.
I plead.
She pleads.
Do you want this place to look like Painters?
No.
No? No?
No. No.
Then become a sustainer.
Thank you so much to Afra and Lauren for that very inspiring poem. Doesn't that just move you, Rafika?
It definitely moved me, and my wall's going to be making moves as well.
Well, that makes me so happy to hear. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Samaya.
And I'm Rafika, and we are your current Nueces Mosque finance team. We wanted to take this chance to introduce to you what you just heard about in the poem, the Sustainers Program.
Sustainers is one of the major ways we keep our masjid running. All these events, the free food, Fajr breakfast every Friday, shout out May, is funded through this program. Even the things that you're probably not paying attention to, but you would notice if they were gone. So, for example, the water, the lights.
I mean, why do you think the lights are off right now? It's not just for the aesthetic.
So, now that we've hopefully convinced you that you want to become a sustainer, how do we do that, Rafika?
Such a good question, Samay, and let me tell you how. If you look around the room, there's sustainers QR codes, or go to nuecesmosque.com/sustainers, and you can choose any amount that you want to contribute monthly.
And if you decide to give 10 or more a month, then we are very happy to gift you a very beautiful Nueces tote bag and a very cool mug.
And those are first come, first served, so come find us out front by the entrance after the event.
Jazakallahu khairan, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. I saw a lot of people laugh and heard a lot of people laugh at Snap, but I didn't see any phones come out. So, nueces.com/sustainers.
Yeah. Yeah, if y'all don't give after that, then, man, I don't know what y'all doing, because they did a whole, like, rap poem for y'all, so bring out the wallets, and inshallah, on a serious note, like, Allah will reward you for your efforts and for trying to donate to Nueces Mosque. So with that, we'll move on to the next poem, and it is by
Abdur Rahim Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, bismillah. Two children are born in the desert somewhere. One is called here, the other called there. Here is okay, he's pretty and he's kind, but there's a monster. He's sick in his mind. Here has a dog and knows that birds are for eating. There eats dogs and thinks birds are for keeping. So here builds a city to protect his people, and the shadow is cast over there from the steeple. It climbs the church to protect here from evil. And there says, hey, listen, you're blocking the sun. Here says, you deserve it for all that you've done. So there throws a rope to topple the tower, and here retaliates with extraordinary power. And here rains down all the fire from hell and burns up the crops and dries up the well. The sun rises each day, but doesn't shine the same way. For here the morning is bright, it's golden. It's full of sound, for there a dim echo, a pale imitation. Each day begins, but not in celebration. Here speaks proudly of progress, of safety, of might. But there's whispers of survival, echo through the night. And suddenly, there's some confusion. who's defending themselves? Suddenly there's some confusion. Is this a war, a genocide, a crisis, or an illusion? When does pain become progression? When does defense become aggression? Hospitals turn to rubble, are burying farewells, but here, there, who's defending themselves? Here has some books about that on his shelf, but there he has no pen and nobody to tell. If it reads in black and white, then it's usually bled red, and the living determine the truth of the dead. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. So surely with hardship there must come ease, but there's always a feeling of being deceived, because the world is always listening to the loudest of noises. Here's voice has somehow free of dissenting noises. But what about there? What happened to there's cries? Who will listen when only silence replies? And here's an idea that you choose to believe in. Is soul determined by where it was born, the language it spoke, or the skin it's worn? Or are we all just the same texts in varying fonts, the same world imprinted with all the same wants of safety and dreams of family trees and children and peace and honey and wheat? These visions, like stones, are buried so deep under 75 years of history, too heavy to keep, yet there lies the truth, hidden and stark, that the battle for peace is fought in the dark. What happens when the earth itself cries out? When the rivers run dry and the sea is shut out? Is justice found in shattered stone and in sand? Or is it found in the silence of theirs stolen land? Yet here has a promise it needs you to keep. Just kneel at his flag and he'll give you the dream. Just promise you'll fight whenever he needs, because there has to die for our living in peace. And so the cycle continues. The same spin, relentless and cold, stories retold, innocent lives bought and sold. Generations pass, yet the questions remain. Do the ends justify the merciless pain? What about theirs children, looking up into the night, their dreams so trampled, bombed and burned out of sight? And the stories continue year after year. Here says, it's okay, there's nothing to fear. Just do as I say. God's guidance is clear, and when you get to heaven, I'll be there. I mean here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdurrahim, for that beautiful poem. It serves as a reminder for all of us that we have to remember, although like we're here in America, alhamdulillah, like, you know, we have a safe roof over our heads, and we have a house to go home to, and we have food to eat, like after this event and everything. We cannot forget, like in our du'as, in our prayers, even just like, you know, you walking to class and everything, just thinking about people that don't have as much as you, thinking about the people in Gaza, in Sudan, in Somalia, and all these different in Kashmir as well, thinking about all these different countries, it really serves as a reminder for that.
Yeah, may Allah grant the people who are oppressed all over the world freedom, and grant them Jannah for those. And then just an announcement, could you guys like move forward, please? Like, don't bite. Like, there's so many people there. Yeah, I'll give like 10 seconds.
Okay. So the next poet that's going to be going is Maisha, and her poem is Perfectly Imperfect. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maisha. My poem is Perfectly Imperfect. You're wrong. You're a mistake. As the days would prolong, she felt the need to live, to partake, to impress the unimpressible, to do what others wanted her to do, even if it prevented her from being very accessible. She wanted to be in everyone's shoes. You're disgusting. You're weak. As her life was left constantly adjusting, she started thinking herself a freak. an abnormality, a defective good with no free return policy, imperfect. Imperfect. Where in Allah's perfect design was there room for a soul such as mine, she wonders. As she stares into the endless abyss of stars, the night sky, she wonders. As the first signs of light start to show, she wonders. As the night begins to saturate with beautiful colors, she wonders. Why can't I be perfect? She wonders. Every day, she would hide her mistakes with foundation. She would cover up her personality with concealer. She would dust away her sanity with a simple pink powdered blush. Scared of being judged for who she was, she would chain her mind to a self-inflicting prison of nobody's judgment but her own. She spends her time focusing on her imperfections, never stopping to realize the beauty that lies within. She spends her time trying to make corrections, not ever realizing there were no corrections to be made. Until she did. Until she reads the words, "Do not with your own hands throw yourself into ruin." Until she remembers that Allah makes no mistakes. Until she realizes she is perfect in every imperfection, no matter anyone's objection. She takes her leap of faith, full of determination and conviction to stop hiding from herself. She wants to be true to herself. I want to be true to myself. And so as the sun starts to rise, I wash my face, I clear my eyes, and I erase the makeup of this wannabe me. Every flaw a sign of beauty, embracing my true self, no longer hiding, now found me. By no means am I perfect. What do you expect? I'm simply content with my perfect imperfections, perfectly imperfect, perfectly imperfect.
All right. So we're winding down. We have a few more poets to go. Thank you so much, Maisha. That was a really, really good poem, and I enjoyed it. Samir, do you have anything?
I enjoyed it as well. Our next poet is...
Poets
are
actually.
Jude and Jenna.
Got a hella lit combo.
Hello. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So our poem is kind of, well, it's not situational. It begins with a situation. You're nearing your death and you're entering an Uber, meeting a stranger, and then just know that this situation could happen to any of you.
And also, if we say anything offensive, we apologize, not our intention. Yeah.
It's just a good reminder
Yeah,
to all of you
we're
guys.
reminding everyone.
Yeah. It's
All right.
called Return to Allah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet?
I'm sorry, my mind goes blank.
Oh no, you shall see. This determines your rank.
No.
Sister, Allahu Alam.
Mister, what about him? All my life, never heard of these questions.
Bring the past to your mind, the memory will freshen.
I'm trying my hardest, thinking about the smallest moments in obsession. As I ponder for a while, my memory seems to lessen and lessen.
Allah understands the constant pressure of this world to look a certain way and to live for the constant praise. But don't you realize this is simply a facade? Allah would have embraced you if you would have just embraced Him as God. Every single moment, every second, Allah was so close to you, but you didn't realize you stayed ignorant and gave into what's untrue. You followed the absurd, for your ignorance was blurred, but could have been cured with just a few simple words. We are so wrapped up in our own world, we forget that Palestinians, our fellow Muslims, are being oppressed, their homes destroyed, their families killed and distressed. They are facing genocide, their culture, language, and religion are being set aside. France, our sisters, are being stripped of their rights to wear hijab, a symbol of their faith and their might. As the government seeks to control and suppress, tell me why there's women across the world from me being stripped from their modesty. While catastrophe recurs, it has become normal to be extravagant and to feast on luxury, until we waste precious time forgetting prayer is compulsory. We go against the gratitude of our Nama, suddenly having the urge to pine for all things materialistic. Yet we assume our dua is enough over nothing. How can we be so hopelessly optimistic? Instead of truly private worship, setting up alone time with Allah and tawbah, repentance, we follow the people of other religions as if the Quran is as garbled as the Old Testament. Everything, every question we want answered is discussed in the Quran, precisely written. But we are captives of our own ignorance, neglectful of the forbidden. Every soul shall taste death is an ayah that appears in multiple verses. But we act like this dunya on earth is one and only out of God's many universes. What's going to happen if our ummah is too far gone, becoming repugnant, until the ummah faces their last time, petrified over the day of judgment? Those whose time spent with their nafs overclouding, straying from sirat al-mustaqim, they followed shaitan and his whispering song. Now they voice nothing except an ear-splitting scream. We belong to the multitude who still crave the validation of transgressors with only materialistic stressors in a prison of subjugation. But one day you'll awake, trying to see what's knocking as you feel the essence of your life almost subside. It's the angel of death, Malik al-Maut, telling you, let me inside. You'll begin to shiver, beginning the struggle to speak with fever, wishing that the past years of your life you were more of a believer. The angel knocks again and again, and you shout that you're not ready yet. You hold off as long as you could, but it's no use. Although you're filled with no shortage of regret, it is simply just time to meet your death. In Yawm al-Hisab, when dua will no longer be mustajab, and the earth's grounds start to crack, you'll be wishing you had committed ibadah, crying, my Lord, please send me back. As you didn't put your head on the ground for the one who created you, every day you forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgetting his many blessings of simply waking you. Oud ilallah, oud ilallah, oud ilallah. Did you overcome this temporary life? Listen to Allah's command? Was it ever truly obeyed? Did you become foolish enough to leave your salah? 5 times a day you never prayed. Allah knows what's best for us. He created us. So why should we complain? We fail to give praise, wanting the sunshine, but He knows there must be rain. This society creates more issues when our problem was solved 1400 years ago. But we leave it on a bookshelf collecting dust, gusting away with one blow. To some, Islam is nothing but rules and regulations, but others know it is a perfect vision of life. Those who know it's not just halal and haram, it's a straight path that leads to paradise. For sadness that brings you back to Allah is better than any happiness that takes you away from Him. In another realm, we are all affirmed our beliefs in Allah. So when we are closer, it is the primordial dispossession. So ask yourself this: did you remember Allah today? Or did you focus on your complaints? Forgetting Alhamdulillah was a word to say. Are you careful in this life? Grateful for the simple things, following your deen pure and neat? Because if Allah wanted to, He would take it all away within one single heartbeat. Do you let the ridiculous standards tell you if your voice isn't the right sound, even when your laugh is beautiful in everyone's sake? Do you think about your own flaws, even though Allah created you and He doesn't make mistakes? Let us not use our power to criticize or judge. Oh, did you see what she had on? Yeah, I bet Jahannam will like that one. Let us not belittle others or hold a grudge. Bro can't bench 175. This ummah's definitely ready to die.
We don't need the haram police consisting of men who don't even cover their knees.
Let us use our power to lift each other up and bring a smile to someone who needs a loving touch. For every Muslim has a story and a unique path, and every Muslim deserves respect without wrath.
We need to love Allah, connect to Him. We need to abide and follow the prophetic ways. We should follow the Sunnah, seeking the light through darkness by offering our praise.
Get up.
Get up.
Get up.
Get up. Make a conscious effort to draw yourselves closer to Allah every day, because we glow differently when we wake up for Fajr to pray. There's nur in our hearts to live with, unshakable confidence of our faith and obedience of our deen.
May our lives flow melodiously out of this temperate world into the gates withholding bountiful fruits. Ameen. Sorry. Here we go.
Oh. Okay. That was a great poem. That was a really great poem. I hope the brothers heard that joke that she made. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, last time. Could you guys move up, please?
There's no one standing up.
No, there's one person standing up in the back, but
All right.
yeah.
Okay. So moving on to the next one. Thanks, Jude and Jenna. The poem was really, really good. And it was serious, and then I laughed, so it was good. Alhamdulillah. The next poet that we have is
Yasmin performing Ummi, yes, okay.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hear me okay? Okay. So my poem is titled Ummi Ummi. Ummi Ummi. My mother is illiterate. Mama says as a fact, and I'm not sure how I should react, that my grandmother had her education withheld, and I find it hard to accept what my mother says. So what you're telling me is that I'm the second woman to read and the first with a degree within a first degree? We hear stories from previous generations, how the war caused a deprivation, but shame on us for thinking it was a thing of the past as we witness the cycle continue to last. Ummi Ummi, says the girl in Gaza. Today's realities reaffirms others' imagination, that our people don't want an education, that they push their books all to the side, but no one ever considers scholasticide. Almost 6,000 students killed in Gaza, almost 400 schools destroyed in the crime, a generation whose schooling remains still in time. With diplomas left unhanded and no perpetrators reprimanded. Ummi Ummi, says the girl in Lebanon. Today's realities reaffirms others' imagination, that our people don't want an education, that they push their books all to the side, but no one considers forced relocation. Around 1 million people forced to leave their place, all dealing with a similar fate, even the North closing their schools to take in the ones who had to move. Ummi Ummi, their daughter might say, in some future day, even when the schools are rebuilt and the bombs stop falling, no reparation can return the loss of education. We take for granted everyday things, the utter privilege we bring to a world table sat around it, our brothers and sisters who would give anything to be in the positions we are in today, and to never, ever have to say, Ummi Ummi.
Thank you, Yasmin. Okay, just a quick announcement. So we apologize for the inconvenience. We tried our best to stay within the time limit. Since I know everyone's worried about when we're going to pray Isha. Isha will be moved to 9:15, so in like 9 minutes. And with that being said, we have our final poet, last poet, yeah. And for his poem, it's titled Class Dismissed, and he asked everyone to have at least one thing to take away from this poem. So please help me introduce Hashim Shatori.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Hello, is this working? Okay, good. Bismillah. Bismillah. Just because you get a cap and gown don't mean you're educated. But to a certain degree, yeah, you learned something. But if I ask you what you learned, you won't tell me what you learned. You'll tell me what you studied, but can't tell me what you learned from it. Now, I know it's tough out here, but after 4 years, you're focused on landing a job that can earn hundreds. But if you get in a job for the same reason everybody else gets a job, then you learn nothing. So cool that you can regurgitate facts from a book on someone else's opinion on a subject just to get that outcome that you want. But what about outside of these walls? What is the outcome that you want? 3, 2, 1, action. Abdul Rahman grew up in Atlanta. And as a young boy, he went to school like any other boy and would always try fitting in. It was a bad environment, a poor community. It was really grim. Chances of success are really slim, but his parents taught him to avoid giving in. The teacher would assign projects he was all too familiar with because projects is what he was living in. Reality was not many kids made it out, failed to break the mold, but the kids sit quietly in class and do what they are told. Please write your name and date at the top. That was early preparation for a tombstone. Outside, it was too cold. Rate of crime was through the roof. Many subject to gun violence, and a lot of the kids couldn't avoid it. Inside the classroom, they're learning how to take notes. But outside, there's a bullet pointed. He tried to turn the other way, but everywhere he could go, there was no easy road. Many of the kids, they resort to violence, think violence is the answer. They don't even know. I'm talking to a 15-year-old, telling him 2 wrongs don't make a right. He said it makes it even, though. That's just unbelievable. Does this not seem relatable? Please don't think so simplistic. Look at what's happening in the world. This is so realistic. Kids haven't even learned algebra before becoming a statistic. We know that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And the media knows a problem can't be solved if they control what you see there. Cut. Take 2. Action. There's a brother in my class. He was the type that paid attention and was always active. We were given a group assignment. We split up the work, gave everyone a task, and at some point he stopped doing his part and he started slacking. Now for context, he's Palestinian. And this was last October when this happened. Physically in class. Mentally, he's not there. Of course, he heard the news and he got scared. He could only hope that when the bombs dropped that his family was not there. He fell so behind, he had to drop the class to focus on better things. Now his transcript got a couple W's, even though he had lost everything. See, poetry was never really my thing, but if I ever did a spoken word, it's because I get to speak. By the end of this, you weren't really listening if you don't at least change the way that you think. If they profit from war, why would they want to make peace? The strong in every society tends to prey on the weak. Psycho soldiers and crazy police. I've seen both sides, dealt with problems of race and belief. So being from over there, growing up over here, I happen to be in a place where the two places meet. My moral compass balancing between the West and the Middle East. There's war over streets and there's war overseas. From Ferguson to Palestine, crooked cops, corrupt regimes. Trayvon, Ibrahim, Tamir Rice, Abdul Rahim. Same story, different scene, different struggle, same theme. Urban America, Arab Springs. Protesters, Mujahideen. Some are captured, others bleed. Some are slaves, some are refugees. Some were forced to come, some were forced to leave. Corruption, destruction, extortion, and greed. Of course, there'll be corpses and mothers that grieve if they can't go to sleep, and families are stuck in mourning. That's how you kill their dreams, because if you can't go to sleep and stuck in mourning, how can you ever dream? How can there be leaders of tomorrow if they don't live to see another day? Some of our brothers and sisters don't wake up, and some of us are not awake. Awake, please don't skip this video. Scroll, watch 3 times. Scroll, I will not forgive anyone who skips it. Scroll, click all the buttons you see on the screen. Scroll. It's been a year now. 1 year ago, I remember walking to class casually. I had a firm stance on the war until some American students started asking me about what they seen on the media, started hearing information I had never heard before, besides the talk about the casualties. Meanwhile, as Muslims were all affected by the tragedies, so before I could educate them, had to re-educate myself, make sure next time they was attacking me that I was speaking factually. I started at the beginning, when this all first started, learning about the stuff that doesn't get publicity, the injuries, no signs of victory, people fighting for liberty. So even though I was taking math classes, I was learning history. Allah judges us based on what we have experienced independently. His struggles, not her struggles. Your struggles are not my struggles, but that's what gets to me, how we can all go to the same school but be graded differently. Some might think it's absurd, but if you just observe, I'm counting on receiving mercy that I don't truly deserve. Ya Rahman, I wouldn't want it in any other way. I can only pray that on Judgment Day, I'm graded on a curve. I got some nerve because I've made some grave mistakes. But in the grave, I hope I don't make mistakes when I'm asked, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Those questions is worth a lot of points. They determine who you are and who I really am. If you didn't pay attention during the semester, studying for that moment, how can you stand a chance? See, life is a test. That's why when someone dies, they say they passed. But what about that final exam? Now, I'm not saying all of us will be shuyukh or even scholars, but our goal is Jannat al-Firdaus. Now, that's graduating with honors. I know we all trying to manage school. I know we're all trying to manage school like a principal or a dean, but I hope you see the bigger picture. We need to take action. That's a principle of our deen. Let me help you see what I mean when I talk about making change. Don't just look at the money. There's a population in every nation with nothing in their tummy. You can live in the West and still go to sleep hungry. Some places in the U.S. look like our hometown countries. So cool that you can regurgitate facts from a book on someone else's opinion on a subject just to get the score that you want. To a certain degree, yeah, you learned something. But if I ask you what you learned, you won't tell me what you learned. You'll tell me what you studied, but can't tell me what you learned from it. Now, I know it's tough out here, but after 4 years, you're focused on landing a job that can earn hundreds. But if you get a job for the same reason everybody else gets a job, then you learn nothing. What's education without action? I know you've all learned something. What's the point of knowing what you know if what you know is just sitting up here? Then it's worth nothing. Class dismissed.
I think we're going to need one more round of applause for that one.
Yusra, what'd you take away from that poem?
I will be skipping class on Monday. I'm playing. But that was a very, very mind-blowing poem, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time I was sitting there, I was just like, whoa. Like, it was facts on facts on facts.
And yeah, it was a nice and intense poem. And speaking of things that are intense, Kasira Intensive come up and make an announcement. Where are they?
Oh, okay.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Sanya.
And I'm Sarah. Since it's poetry night, we have a little poem for you guys. In a mosque where hearts unite, join us for knowledge day and night. From Maghrib to Isha, we'll share and learn about the Prophet ﷺ. There's much to discern. Mark your calendars, don't miss the fun. Sira Intensive, let's get it done.
Nueces Seminary is so excited to invite all of you to Sira Intensive. It's a week-long program that traverses the life of the Prophet ﷺ through daily halakas from Maghrib to Isha. It's going to start on Sunday, October 18th, which is next Sunday, and end on Saturday, October 19th. We have an amazing lineup of speakers coming from all over. We have dinner on the weekends, and we also have some post-moves and pre-moves planned throughout the week. So overall, it's going to be a really fun and rewarding experience.
So inshallah, it'll be here at Nueces Mosque, and we'll be posting all the details on our Instagram, Nueces Seminary. If you're interested in seminary at all, please feel free to come. It'll be a really good experience, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah. Just one last announcement from DI, Dean Intensive.
Wait, why are we up here? Is it February already?
What's in February?
It's Dean Intensive.
Oh. Salam everyone, my name is Umar.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Shahid, and we are your Texas Dean Intensive leads this year.
Dean Intensive is more than just a conference. It's an opportunity to connect with actual scholars, make new friends, and strengthen your unity.
After a successful DI last year, we cannot wait to see what this year has in store. The success of DI is driven by a dedicated steering committee that plans and directs the conference each year.
While also steering away from Imam Anwar's jokes. I'm sorry.
DI was such an impactful part of our college experience and connected us to this community and to Islam.
This year, we're very excited to invite all of you to apply and become part of this rewarding journey, inshallah. Unless you're from A&M, in which case the journey may not be as rewarding.
As of tonight, the DI steering committee applications are officially open. We encourage everyone interested to apply regardless of past experience.
Make sure to check Texas Fight for the application link. Together, inshallah, we can make this the best DI yet. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, everybody,
We
for
hope
coming
y'all
out.
had a great time.
Yeah.
We will be breaking for Isha, and after that, there will be food outside. As Samir said before, it's shawarma today, and for the brothers, you guys will be in
The courtyard, and then
for sisters, we'll be in the driveway.
Sorry.
And then you can say.
And then there is also space in the BAC for brothers for Salah, because I know it's getting really packed in here. So yeah, we also have crepes, crepe me, thobes and traditions, kin culture, and a swar outside. So please be sure to visit them.
And can we get one last round of applause for all the poets that came out tonight? All right, it's time to pray. So.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna pray right now. So.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي